Yes, this is a hardcore grind interview. I have the dynamic podcast, thinking outside of the box, hanging out in the club, hanging out with me on today. And welcome everybody.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hey, what's the word?
We got all the men's in here today, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with it. So, I always like to ask about a goal moment, right? Because one, I'm nosy. I like to know your business. And two, it helps me to understand the individual by you guys being individuals, but you work as a collective and you move together. It'll give me a good insight. So the goal moment is a lot of times we're real mindful about what other people do, how they do for themselves, how they pour into themselves, how they move. But when it comes to ourselves, we tend to deal in lack, and we don't move our feet necessarily when we should. We always wait, and we have a reason why, and that reason is normally somebody else. They're not ready. We can't do it. But it's never, we never think of ourselves first. So I just want each of you guys to tell me about your goal moment. What made you want to go into media? Jeff?
Well, me, first of all, what made me want to go into media was I interviewed a guy, and it was something, it gave me goosebumps almost, like, the way people gravitated towards it once, I edited and put it out, and I think I was always been a talker. All my exes always say you can talk your way into anything, so I always been a talker, and I think I just put the media and the words together, and I came up with, hey, let's try this media thing, and it's been working for us because all of us have this skill. I think we are, we very grounded with how we talk and the conversation we have with other people too. So we get different personalities when you come talking to us.
Darius?
Well, actually, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I never was really interested in media, so, but I will break that down to you. I talk, in the same instance as Turbo just talked about. I myself, I've always been a talker. I love communication with people. I think communication is key in all things. Outside of that, I'm also a pastor. A pastor that's been through some of everything. I've been through all the ups and downs, just as we all have been through things and experienced a lot of things. And I've tried to talk my way out of some things. I've been able to be successful in some instances, and some instances I have not. So talking ain't never been an issue. I also been a gospel rap artist for a decade now, and I've released plenty, projects. And talking has always been something that I felt was needed. And as far as doing it in media, it was actually Jeff who came up with the idea, and he had came to me. I'm just being honest and being open. He came to me and he told me, he said, man, I love what you do. You're doing some things out here, and I got an idea. He said, and anything I do, I want God in it, so I want you to be involved in it. And he introduced me to Reg and B Scholar. And when he introduced me, it was an instant connection, and I knew then, like, yeah, I want to be a part of it. And as we began to grow and do what we do, I did fall in love with this media thing. Not so much as I've never been a glory seeker, but I felt like it's not the glory, it's something that I feel like that I can add, that I can help somebody else that will give ear to the things that we have to say, as far as us opening up about subjects and things that we all go through in life as a people. I felt that I had something that's valid for them to say, and it give you a broader range of an audience that's willing to listen to the things that you got that could possibly help them through my testimony as far as what I've been through in life. So that's why that's my story as far as media goes.
Okay, Reg.
Well, unlike these two lovely gentlemen, I never was a talker like that. All in school, high school, grammar school, I was always the talk of the deep voice, so I got teased a lot growing up. So I kind of once my mom passed in 2004, I kind of want to refocus myself. So, started doing podcasts, and then I seen it was more of an outlet. It was very healing for me to express myself because I don't have any brothers or sisters or anything like that. So that outlet, that platform kind of helped me to figure out who I am a little bit more. So as the years went on, I went to school. I went to Illinois Media School, and I graduated from there. I met the guys. I met Jeff through an event. Darius, and I met Scholar, so it all meshed well. And I love media because of the different ideas and opinions you can gauge from this world. There's a lot of people in this world with different opinions on things. And then I host a radio show here in Chicago, so my radio show that I host is for people that's up late at night, that have that type of vibe when they want to talk about romance and kind of a chill environment. So to hear the range from different people and different opinions, I fell in love with media. And I have sons, so my sons are teenagers. My oldest going to college this year, so it means a lot to me for my sons to see something that I put my all into over the years. And then God forbid, whenever it's my time to leave this earth, they'll always have something of me, of media, on a mic, on the radio, on podcasts, something that they can always hold on and latch on to.
Absolutely. Now, Jeff, you seem to be the magic one. What made you want to put the show together?
Well, I do clothes, so I'm a fashion designer. So I was having pop-ups, and I always have someone come and speak to the youth and to the people who was coming to my pop-up. And I always had Holy Grind to come over and do the entertainment part of the pop-up. And me and him would always get together doing these pop-ups, and I always tell him, we're going to do something. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do something together, And one thing led to another, and it just light bulb came. I met Reg, I knew Scholar, and Graham was the perfect fit for this, because he had the most experience, because he's speaker already, because he's a pastor. So everything just blossomed, and I feel like this, I would call myself the facilitator, because I facilitated this, and now I think it's going to do something real big for us. And I couldn't did it with without none of these guys, because everybody played their part. And I think this was just God's gift for me, here you go, now go to work. So
right. So what was the most challenging part of your journey coming together and creating this dynamic show of men? Reggie?
I would say the most challenging thing was being consistent in our own, day-to-day lives. I know when we all came into it, we all had a goal for it to be something special, and we all knew that, feeling it, but none of us knew exactly how it would look as far as consistency, getting to know each other, how each other vibe and everything as far as on air. Off air, we was fine. The chemistry was great. It was just a matter of putting it on air. And then I think after the first show, we knew that we had something special. And, more and more that we did it, episode after episode, season to season, we started to feel ourselves knowing that we are really talented at doing this. And we was helping people. I think that was another thing that was helping us to overcome any type of obstacles or doubt, knowing that people was watching us, knowing that people was writing in letters to us, people was coming to the shows, people was asking us about material. That helped us to overcome any type of doubt or obstacles we had in the beginning. So now, after 3 years, it's it's like second nature to us. We love what we're doing. We do different events throughout the year, the coat drives or, anything that we have, like pop-up shops, any type of events we have. We do shows out of state. So now it's more like there's no obstacles. There's no doubt. We know what we're here to do, and we're just excited. It's definitely excited to see where it's going to go this year, because I know it's going to go up again.
Absolutely. I love it. Now, Jeff, what's the one message you want fans to get when they experience your show?
I'm gonna let Grind say it, because he said it all the time.
Well, yeah, get him, Brian.
Well, the one experience we want them to get, I mean, first and foremost, we want them to be able to see, take the limits off of what they've been traditionally used to hearing when it comes to anything. A lot of times we limit ourselves to whether it's doing the things the right way or seeing life from a different perspective. One thing about me is, people always say, well, I'm a realist. Even though, I'm a pastor, there's a lot of people that feel like, I can't talk to him. He's not down to earth. That's one thing that I am, because I'm not no fake pastor. I'm not out here trying to pimp you. I just come out here to spread the gospel and tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you what God loves, and that's the truth. And we want you to hear the truth. And the truth is that you got some people that think like me, you got some people that don't. Even on our panel of us four, you got some that's going to feel, one might feel a certain way, another one might not feel the same way about that, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree, thinking separately, but we still come together for one cause, and that's to help somebody else go through our testimony or whatever advice we can give through whatever subject we're talking about. So we just want them to be able to experience, seeing things from a different perspective, having a right perspective of being willing to see things from a different perspective. That's what we want for the people when it comes to our show.
Indeed.
Yes.
I love it. Now, how hard is it to be Christian in media?
That's so. I know they think it's hard. It's easy. It's easy because I want to tell you why. It's so easy, because I'm just being me. I'm not perfect. It's just like, I have to give the explanation. People ask me, well, what's your religion? I say my religion is holiness. That's the only thing God ever told me to be. He told me to be holy. They say, so you don't believe in Christianity? No, I'm a Christian, though, but Christianity is not my religion. I say, it's okay for you to, my religion is holiness, because religion is what you practice. I don't practice being a Christian because a Christian is not perfect. I practice being holy because I'm not perfect. So that's what I'm to practice. So all I got to do is do my best to be upright at all times. Do I slip up? Do I make mistakes? Yeah. But I'm going to be me. And see, my heart is already for the people. I've been through so much hell in my life, so much hell, so much turmoil. I done been through so many things, and I done ministered through so many people through my pain. It brought me to a point where no matter what I'm going through, no matter what they going through, I'm going to do my best to try to help you, bring you through a situation, talk you through a situation through the grace of God. And so it's easy for me, even in media, because I'm still going to be me. I've been through so much that I don't know how to do nothing but try to be better. And I'm not going backwards. So even in media, I'm trying to be better. Even though Jeff may say something crazy that I may laugh at, even though Reggie may fight with me over how many girls he with, this still don't matter. I'm still trying to be better and trying to help them be better. So as long as I'm being me, it's easy. And I could do it without compromising, because I refuse to go back. So it's not hard at all. It's not.
Okay, well, Darius says it's not hard. But Reggie, what do you say?
Well, with all due respect, my good brother, I'm struggling over here. I'm struggling, and it's not even that. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all, especially as we get older, we mature, right, in different areas and different levels, right? But my family grew up installing me about the importance of knowing who Christ is and everything. So I know who I am. It's just now that the media aspect is involved. When media comes, anytime you're in media, you gain a whole different level of followers, and you learn about yourself in maybe different ways that you never even knew. So things that you want to put away for a while, like drinking. Now that you at an immediate event and it's unlimited liquor, it's like, okay, God, I said you told me, it's like it's that battle, anything that the flesh really wants that you're not supposed to do, when you're in media, it enhances it, So I commend Grind all the time. I tell him I look up to him all the time because I'm struggling over here.
I understand that. And Jeff?
I'm okay. Like, I am blessed. I'm very blessed, and I try to mean what I say what I mean, but I'm always open for change. I'm always open, for advice, and I know I'm not Mr. Perfect or nothing like that, but things that I say, I really believe. And I know I might be a little bit harsh or blunt with some of the words that I use, but a lot of people been getting, like tucked in at night. I want to let you know, like, listen, you've been getting talked to like this for years, and they haven't changed. I want to talk to you like this, and it might change. So I'm really into what I say and what I believe in. So I think God got my back as a Christian. I always believe in God. I always, put him first, because without him, I wouldn't be here right now, because he gave me second and third and full chances, so I know where my heart is at. So, that's just what it is with me.
I love it. I love it.
That's
and
why
then,
I love you guys, Lissha.
Absolutely. A lot of times, and I like what Reggie said, because sometimes it can be a struggle. It can absolutely be a struggle at times, because you're trying to do one thing, but the world is already there, and it's always there doing what it does. And sometimes it takes your focus away from the things that you want to do or how you feel that you should. So, Scale, what about you? What is the most challenging part of this journey?
Hello.
Okay, what's the most challenging part of
Go
this
ahead,
journey?
Scholar.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, Scholar?
None. I'm sorry to cut y'all off. You could go ahead and finish that question up. I'm just letting you guys know I'm joining.
No, she was asking you a question.
Yes, you.
What was the question again? What was the most question? Say the question again.
Well, what's the most challenging part of this journey for you?
Okay, the most challenging part of the journey, keeping it on track, keeping everything, it's so easy to get off track. It's so easy to fall off a seat. So the most challenging part is to stay the mission, stay on course with the mission, and not allow any distractions. That may sound negative, but it's really, it's just a reality, because, different obstacles do get in the way, life gets in the way, all different type of things get in the way. So the fact that we have stayed the course this long is challenging, but it's also a testimony to the goal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, as men, as fathers, and as entrepreneurs, what have you each learned the most about yourself throughout this journey? Darius, we'll start with you.
Oh man, let me tell you. One thing that I've learned about myself, I'm trying to find the right words to say this. It's more of it's like what this have helped me with more so than anything. I learned that I don't have to be as code. And that's real talk. Like I've always been a person that I felt like because of where I've come from and what I've been through, I felt like, you know, if we disagree, I was taught that we was at odds. If not necessarily see things my way, but if you was wrong, then I need to stay away from you. Because, see, I didn't, and I'm not saying that from a perspective of a spiritual aspect, because I didn't grow up in the church. I found God later on in life. Much later, I was 28 years old. But, but what I was taught, like, younger, I come up in a lifestyle where it was like, if either you with me or you against me. So one thing that I learned about myself is that I've learned that I can be much more of a loving person and an attraction to people by being able to forgive, not only forgive for wrongdoings, but also being at odds or having a different mind state than somebody else and being receptive to it. If that makes any sense, I'm hoping you could follow what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And Jeff, what about you?
What I learned during this journey was that it ain't always got to be about self. And I did everything myself, like from being a young kid, you know, it was just about, you know, me taking care of me, just me handling me. I learned, you know, through this journey that I can be a team player, I can be a role player, and I know that it takes more than just me, like for this train to go. So that's what I learned. I learned that I'm open-minded now, that, you know, in order to go far, you have to build a team. You only can go so far by yourself. So that's what I really learned through this journey, you know, and I learned how to open up more. Like, this is the most I ever opened up, you know, like people probably never heard me say certain things because I used to be laid back, but now I'm assertive and everything come with, you know, straight raw, no chaser.
No, that's right. And you know, a lot of times we got to check our ego when we're in media, because we have our point of view, but then we have a point of view that we have to shape that is relatable to many people.
Yes.
So that one person is not feeling left out. And so sometimes that's hard. Talk a little bit about that, Reg.
Well, I think that me in particular, like, was confirmed experience media, and the distractions is very right. Like, there you deal with distractions to follow your passion, or, you know, because procrastination is very easy on a daily basis. So, a large amount of my time in my life, especially in my adulthood, trying to find what my passion was. And when I started getting more comfortable in my voice, and people started recognizing who I am and the type of presence I can bring, not just physically, but, you know, mentally and emotionally, through this platform and just through being around other people, it helped me to escalate to a different level of knowing and confirming my passion. So, actions, imagination, everything that can throw you off, as Grind would say, the devil, you know, like, I mean, that don't believe in you, but then they start believing you when they see your success. Family members, friends, coworkers, relationships, anything that can distract you, that can come in your way to throw you off for what you want to do. And me thinking outside the box is really for guys that have, like Grind said, have the same goal, but we all think differently in different ways, and that's what makes the nuances of what we do so special. And that's why I believe that we keep going and going and going, and people are recognizing everything that we're doing. So I'm proud of where we're at. I'm just glad that the steps that we've taken But like I said, we're just getting started, and it feels really good and refreshing to know that.
Absolutely. And this is a podcast of all men. And it is refreshing because it's a little rough for Black men in this day and age, especially in media. And so you guys inspire so many. You inspire so many to do so many different things, but mainly to go for whatever it is they're passionate. How does that make you feel to know that you're inspiring so many? Scale?
That would be for me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I gotta answer that other question in order to answer this question. And I gotta start it like this. I had a conversation, we had a conversation, me and Darius Grind, when we were going through, I don't know, say when we had a little bit of a miscommunication. And I remember him saying something to me about the people that we aspire, right? And it had to register with me at first, because at first I was just looking at it. I have a lot, a lot of times I can be stuck in contemplation, right? I'm more of an introvert, even though I know how to step out and be an extrovert, right? So a lot of times when you say that we inspiring people, I never learned to accept credit, right? So if you look at my family and everything that I've done in life, from the military, I look at it as a duty, right? I never look at it as a great job, or if somebody said, man, you did good with your kids, or you did good with this. It's difficult for me to accept credit because I look at certain things as a duty, right? So if I'm saying I'm inspiring somebody, I have an emotional detachment from that. So this podcast is also teaching me to open up. It's also teaching me that I have more to give, right? I have more I got to give and receive, right? So it's therapeutic to me at the same time. Me giving is also therapeutic for me. So that's the best way I can say it like that. I'm learning. I love to give, right? But I also got to be therapeutic to know that it's more than just giving. That it's also helping me too. I'm actually living that right now. So that's how I would answer that.
I love it. And Reggie?
Can you repeat the question one more time for me?
Absolutely. So you guys inspire so many people. How does that make you feel? Know that the things that you are putting into place are inspiring not just people, but Black men to pursue some of their dreams.
Feels amazing. It's very rewarding for me personally, knowing that impact that have the influence we have on Black men in general. Really rewarding for me, coming from where I come from, growing up, being an only child, not having my father, not really having a lot of male role models like that. And the importance of what I say and what we say on these shows, how it can impact someone's future, means a lot. When I have sons as well that's going into this world as a young Black man, as you mentioned, being a young man in our society right now, very, very, in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, society already viewed us as failures. They already imagine us to not get our degree or be in prison or be on child support or be on aid or, anything dealing with drugs. The stereotypes is already there for a lot of Black men right now. So to see 4 consistent Black men do something week after week, month after month, year after year, and stay cohesive through that. A lot of businesses don't stay together as long as we did. A lot of relationships don't stay together as long as we did. A lot of things that's supposed to build longevity do that. But we're an example of true male role modelship community that we live in notices, and in turn they tell their friends, and their friends tell their friends. So to make that impact means a lot on me, and because I'm the younger guy in our group here, I'm inspired by Jeff. I'm inspired by Darius. I'm inspired by Scholar, because they're my OGs. So it makes it even 10 times better knowing that I'm soaking up wisdom from older guys, and I'm putting wisdom into guys that's younger than me throughout this platform. So it's very rewarding.
I love it. Now, Jeff, you guys are all from Chicago, so you have all experience of things as men. But as Black men in media, what would you change if you had to change, and why would you change it? So what would you change in media if you had that, and why?
The first thing I would change was this council culture. I definitely would change that. But I would, I always feel like this, earlier what you said about how sometimes you got to curve your answer for it won't actually hurt other people. I feel like somebody's going to get hurt regardless. Somebody's going to say something regardless. Media just have to be straightforward, and if that's your lane, that's your lane. It's a lot of things that we're not trying to fit in. We're not trying to be like the regular pocket. We have an audience. We have segments, so I feel like we're not going by the book. We're going by our book. This is the blueprint, and people are going to adjust their podcasts to be like ours, because we're not just your regular, essential podcast. When you come here, you getting a day, of entertainment, and you can go back and tell your friends about, that live taping that you went to, So I think we moving differently, and we're not going by, the media, culture right now. We kind of been in the rules.
I love it. Darius, what about you?
What would I change? Man, to be honest, definitely, I feel the same strongly about this council culture thing, whereas you can't speak about certain things and be openly. I think that's the only way that we able to rectify situations and help people is by speaking and giving advice on things, however we feel, on every topic, whatever it may be, without having to worry about the backlash of people thinking you being malicious. It's just that, I have a different opinion. It's having the right perception of being able to understand the perception is real to the person who perceives it, and be okay with how another person feel about it. Outside of that, the only other thing I see I would change would be I would love to change the narrative on us as Black men. As Black men, it is a struggle. One of the things that you have said in the past, and the questions you raised a second ago was, how do we feel about inspiring Black men? To me, that is a plus, and that's one of the greatest things that I feel that we do, because especially as a man of the cloth, like, you get more women supporters and more women that's in tune. But as I've come on this podcast and been able to give a different perspective of a man who's been in the trenches, of a man who's been down and been up, as a man who don't judge you for what you're going through, but rather will help you for what you're going through. It's been a blessing to hear men come to you and say things like, Joe, you really blessed me with what you said on the podcast. I want you to know I hear you. You was talking to me what you said on the podcast. Whereas I couldn't get them to come to church, but they hear me say it on the podcast, and they gravitate towards it because it shows them something different than what they used to hearing. Whereas we got this perspective and this notion where people have this perspective and this notion of what a Black man is and how he's supposed to be, and how we got to always be violent, vigilant, angry, or bitter. Like, no, we ain't got to always be those things, and it's okay not to always be those things. And if I could change anything, that would be one of the main things I would change, is the perspective that's been portrayed for us as Black men.
Absolutely. Now, whenever you decide to do something, I call it moving your feet, and I also call it the switch up. And the switch up is when God's divine hand steps in when you're going to the left and he really needs you to go to the right. So in order for him to get you over there, he shakes stuff up a little bit, right? Now, in the process of shaking things up, he has shaked out so much of what he needs you to be. What is your advice to young men that want to go into media, that want to change their moves in life and just do things differently? What advice would you give them to start out? Reggie?
First and foremost, I think I would definitely tell them about this decision. This decision to be in media, a lot of different ways. You know, you look at today in media, you know, people that like we just had a show last week about the old Cat Williams interview on Club Shay Shay, and how when you're in media, everything that you do and say in media is now trending all over the world. So now you're viewed different from a day ago. Wherever you go, whatever you said on media, and that can change your life in many different ways. So if you have to pray about being ready for that, because that takes a lot of mental and spiritual discipline. It takes discipline to be in media. So to be into this field, you have to pray about it and know it's for you. After that, I would say consistency is key. Anything that you're consistent in and you're putting your all into it, your money into it, your heart into it, you know, to your labor. Now, unfortunately, we don't know if that's in a day or a week or a month, but staying consistent when it comes to following something that you prayed about and you know that's for you. I've learned for a little over 5 years now that is what kept me today. You know, the things that I've lacked growing up or in my in my 20s, I don't deal with that now. So, and media has helped that. So I would definitely say for sure, because this is the tough field to be in, but it's rewarding if you know this for you and it's your calling and you're making a difference. And being consistent, you know, being consistent is always going to get you exactly where you want to go.
Absolutely. And Scholar, what about you? Because you know they have a lot of YouTubers, and YouTubers I think are failing to realize they are media. And a lot of times when you get wrapped up in that, it becomes very overwhelming. So, Scholar, what advice would you give those that are already in media but need to change up the way they're moving so that they can be consistent throughout their career?
I would say be authentic to yourself, right? Authenticity, right? Because authenticity leads to creativity, right? And so to circle back, you know, just to tap into your earlier question, you know, a lot of, especially in our community, a lot of times I like to just focus on our community because that's the community that I'm a part of. We lack vision, right? And so media or anyone entering into media or anyone that has the aspirations to move into media, just do it, right? Because there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of windows and rooms that we can enter into. And if we just step out there and just do it, as the quote would say, I would say for the people in media currently, that they should do, you know, it's like they shouldn't be a gatekeeper, right? So that's one thing that the current thing that we would probably change is, you know, stop with the gatekeeping, with the negativity and the competitiveness, and encourage creativity, because this creativity is what leads to more and more ideas, right? And so that's what I would encourage, because I even tell, like, you know, I believe that we like creatures of habit, right? You know, at one time, everybody had hoop dreams, right? But, you know, if you couldn't fit in that box, what do I do? Then everybody had musical aspirations, but you couldn't fit into that box, what you can do? And now I feel like we're moving into a different paradigm shift where people are being bold enough for pioneering this new path, and it's called media, right? It's giving people opportunity where there was once no opportunity. And I would say, you know, be authentic to yourself and allow your authenticity to shine.
Now,
that's what I would say about that.
What is next? Y'all have so much going on. You got pastor, you got a designer. Everybody is moving their own, even though you guys are moving together as one. Everybody is still moving in leveling up. So what's next for Thinking Outside the Box podcast?
Bigger things. We got a lot of things that we want to do. You know, we want to produce some other podcasts. That's one of our goals, you know, is to produce other podcasts, because we got a lot of people who've been trying to, you know, do certain things, and they see a vision, and we want to help them with it. You know, we want to do more, shooting more shows out of town. We want to do a tour. You know, I know we have busy schedules, everybody, but I think we can get this tour going on, like a 5-city tour. You know, I think that'll be big for us. So we got a lot of things in store.
I love
if
it.
I could jump in.
Yeah.
If I could add to that, we were having conversations. We were adding. If I could add to that, I would say, just like Jeff was saying, we were saying the podcast is the building block. It's the foundation to. I would, if I can envision it, I would say we will explore more in the radio, and Reg has already created that avenue. We'll make more appearances with him and expound upon that. And we were also talking just movies and different things like that. I know it sounds it's in the distance, but we want to really expound on our creative process and bring our journey to life and bring our experiences to life, so that we could ignite other individuals that may lack direction or may be hungry for what's next in their lives, right? So like when Reg was saying earlier, that the secret is sauce to where we're headed is we are the American dream. We come from different generations. We have different seasoning, and we're receiving one another, and we're bringing all that experience and all what we can together, and it's going to bring birth to something that's going to allow us to continue to grow and continue to inspire others. So our mission, the name Thinking Outside the Box, was really to inspire others to do just that.
Anybody else want to add to that? Darius, you can read on. Reggie, you have anything to add to that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Definitely. I think one of the things that Scholar just mentioned was the movie aspect of it. You know, I think as we grow in doing this each year, last year when we was in Vegas doing the show, we had to talk about it, about how important and how vital that would be for our people and our culture to see us putting this actually into a film, right? So I do agree about opening up something that can, create an avenue for our people to have a voice, other platforms that want to do something similar to what we're doing. And then the aspect of, the network that we with, they do movies, So just tapping into that area and seeing how far we can do as far as thinking outside the box in each one of our individual lives in as many faces possible, whether it be radio, whether it be TV, whether it be podcast, whether it be YouTube, right? Whether it be anywhere like vendor events, anywhere where we can kind of like expand to. That's always the ultimate goal, to get in front of as many people as we can to change people's lives and to let people know that it is possible for men, for black men, grown men who have children, to be successful and not be subject to the stereotypes and stigmas of what society labels already. Breaking the cycle of recidivism, or poverty, living off minimum wage, a black man being divorced or being on drugs, just all the things that they label us already. Showing people that that's not always accurate when you see 4 black men doing something that's opposite. So,
absolutely, and I'm glad that you said that because, a lot of times back in the day, everybody had mentors, right? But nowadays, I don't believe there are mentors anymore. Everybody is a blueprint. So the younger generation is watching, but they're not watching the right thing. They don't have enough of the right examples to show them how to move, especially young men. And my biggest pet peeve is everybody is always telling a woman how to be a woman. Whether it's a man or a woman, they all on Instagram. You can always find somebody telling a woman how to be a woman, but you rarely find people talking to men. And I want to thank y'all for being that, because if men don't talk to men, they're not going to learn, and they're not going to change, and they're not going to grow. And we need them to be what God has in his toolbox for them to be. We need them to be that, because even though women are so strong, it's funny because men always say, well, they're not soft enough. Well, you can't be soft when you got to be the boss. So we need to be able to have that even balanced field so that our families can be stronger. So because we're strong together. We're strong together, but we are very sometimes unorganized, even as creative as we are as a people. And so I love the fact that you guys are men bringing men together and speaking into their lives and helping them to find out who it is they want to be. So I thank you for that, because there's not enough men talking to men, helping them to grow.
I appreciate that. You know what? If I could say something, I definitely appreciate you that word of affirmation to us. And you know what's crazy about it? You absolutely right. And it's not so much as just them being who they want to be; it's them being confident in who God created them to be. We got so many so many young men who don't understand that can't nobody be a better them than they can. Cause they busy trying to they so busy trying to be somebody else rather than being who they are, because they not built up to be confident in who they already are. They feel like in order for them to achieve the status that they need, whether it's street status or media status, they feel they got to be somebody else rather than be themselves. And what it does is stagnate them, and then they become fearful of maturity. They're afraid of maturing, not realizing that there's so many people out here that would gravitate to that mature individual, But because they see so many that entertain the nonsense and entertain the BS, that they just they pick up on that and they want to mimic it, and that's what we do aim to do. We do aim to talk to the men like, man, it's okay for you. It's okay for you to feel how you feel, but you ain't got to be no fool. One of our, I got to talk about this if it's okay. One of our shows, Jeff has said, he had said something about men over 40 who were selling drugs, and basically, how foolish they was. And one of the guys, like, boy, you just started some mess because you still got friends out here that's grinding, that's still in the street. He said, so what? It is what it is. It is what it is. If you still out here over 40 selling drugs, you a fool. And it's like you gotta plant the seed. whether somebody, like I say, somebody might get offended or not, you got to plant the seed that it's okay to mature. It is okay to mature. Don't fear maturity. And for the younger men, that it's okay to be confident in who God created you in. You may not look like that person. You may not act like that person. You could be who you are, and you could still be loved or liked. And whether you liked by people or not, if you're righteous, you ain't got nowhere to go but up. So.
Absolutely. And I want to piggyback on that because a lot of times there is brokenness in our men, and I'm talking about our black men. And women, we are always trying to fix it. We want to fix it, but we can't fix it. The only person or the only people that can fix any kind of brokenness in a man is another man, because that's where the brokenness came from. And so we have to start looking at that and understanding that, you know, a lot of times people gravitate to what they know, and sometimes it's fear. You know, I was talking about a goal moment at the beginning of the show, and I was talking about how we're very mindful about what other people do, how they do it, when they do it, but when it comes to us, we lead with fear, and we're lukewarm in our steps. And if we stop breadcrumbing ourselves, other people will stop breadcrumbing us. But that's a form of fear. If you're 40, you still out there, that's still a form of fear, because I don't really know anything else. And if I step out and do something else, am I going to fail? Because of my past. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that is fear. And women, we can't fix that. We will try to fix it all day long. And we can give him encouragement. We can nurture a man. We can even give him a boost as far as the way we do things. And he can say, I love, you know, your ambition. I love this. I love that. And most men are going to do what they got to do to get up there. But we still got to understand that we got to meet them where they are sometimes. Or we want them to be different. And we can't change everybody. Take a man to do that.
I would like to add something if I could. You know, a lot of times when, you know, I think about certain things, I like to go back and really dig into it and look at, you know, where did it begin, where it created. So we have to first study our history in order for us to know our present and also even determine our future. And men have been broken. So we must first, you know, take some responsibility. The men have been broken, and the imagery of the men, and both male and female, we've cheerleaded this degenerate behavior. And this is the result of it. We cheerleaded men abandoning their children, and women aided and assisted in that cheerleading. We cheerleaded dysfunctional behavior. We cheerleaded, if you do have intelligence, some young men are forced to hide their intellect because they don't see many examples. And then you speak about media. If you look at the imagery is not a positive imagery. It's not an imagery, you know, that speaks to people at certain levels. It's really a success or failure imagery, right? If you're not successful, you know, the mindset will be put out there that is over for you. I was having a conversation with my daughter. I got two daughters. They both adults, but they still, to me, my young children. And my daughter was talking about a young man, and the girlfriend wanted to leave the guy. I said, well, why does she want to leave him? And she said, well, he a drug dealer. I said, that ain't good, but what was he always? He was always a drug dealer. I said, well, you know, before you throw him away, he ain't done living yet. You got to first figure out, you know, give him time to develop into the man that he should be. I'm not saying that women got to come out here and raise men and all and the different things of those nature, but we all share responsibility in the dysfunction of how we operate. Now, the only problem is that men die, and women are left here to tell the story. Men die, and then women go on and tell the story. And what we choose is to change that narrative. That's why you say, well, where I'm at, well, I'm trying to live. I'm in the gym trying to do my jumping jack so I can learn and live long enough to tell the real story. I can tell the story that all of us didn't run. All of us didn't abandon our children. All of us didn't, some of us came back. Some of us made mistakes and turned it around and rehabilitated ourselves. But that story is never broadcast. That story is never told. So then there becomes a fixed narrative that there's nothing left for men to become. So, what we're doing is so that we could change that mindset and we could change that narrative to let the world know we still out here. So that's what I would say about that.
Absolutely. And you know what I'm going to say with that, though? A lot of times, they say the saying that a woman is a man's first true love, his mother. And a father is a woman's first true love. And that's true because most of the time our daddies shape us to, I need to make you independent. You need to do this. Let me teach you how to turn the tire. Let me teach you how to do this. Because you don't have to beg nobody to do nothing for you. That's what our daddies tell us. That's why most of the time we meet a man, the first thing, if you have a father in your life, you're like, listen, if I have to call my daddy, it's over. Because when I call my dad, if you guys come and step in and do something, then that means that you serve no purpose. But I think the reverse to that is men are a boy's first example of self-love. And women are the female's first example of self-love. So if we're not loving on ourselves, if we're not showing love to ourselves, that in a way is silently telling them how to move and how to be and how to feel about themselves.
That's real.
Yeah.
And that's true because if I can recall a memory, and I won't take up too much time, I had lost my mother when I was 32, but like most people, I still, I miss my mother, and I celebrate my mother. But from day one, my mother had already been training me on how to be a proper man. And her first rule was to never abandon my children, to never abandon my responsibility. So I'm fixated on duty and responsibility. And so that's why I say we all share responsibility, because we have to create the narrative. Yeah, the men are broken, but also, like you said, that true love and respect. But it all comes back down to shame, humility, and responsibility. Do we live or conduct our lives by any type of principles, or does anything go? We live in this culture right now, like Brian has said, of this cancel culture. If we say we got zero tolerance on this type of behavior, people will want to shame us or want to cancel us. But we have to get back to principle and moral. And this is the narrative that we're pushing.
I love it. I appreciate y'all for sharing your time, space, and energy with me. I'm excited for the things you guys have to come. I want you guys to shout out your social media where everybody can reach the show, where everybody can watch the show, and if you guys have individual social media where people can connect with you individually.
Sure. So we are, obviously our name is Thinking Outside the Box. You can find us, like Grant said earlier, on YouTube at TOTB_show on the YouTube. And that's TOTB_show on YouTube. You find all our episodes each season on there. A lot of great content. If you're on Instagram, it's TOTB the dopest, TOTB the dopest on Instagram, and then on Facebook, which is another popular way of connecting with us, because our Facebook page is growing massively, and something that we all are proud of. And it's TOTB_show as well. So it's TOTB_show on YouTube, TOTB_show on Facebook, TOTB the Dopest on IG, and on TikTok it's TOTB the Dopest. So that's where you can find us at as far as thinking outside the box. We do shows a few times a month. We actually got a show tomorrow that we're preparing for. So that's that. And then a lot of people call me RMF, but that's short for Reggie Moving Forward. So you can find me at Reggie Moving Forward on Facebook. I'll be on there mainly, or on Instagram at Reggie Moving Forward.
You can find me at Black_Scholar or Black_TikTok. And like Reggie said before, or message us on the Facebook and the IG under the TOTB.
You can find me at Holy Grind, that's HOLYGRIND on Facebook, at Holy Grind on Instagram. Also, you can find me on all streaming platforms, at Holy Grind on all streaming platforms for any of my projects I've done, and on YouTube as well.
You can find me at Moolah Monster Collections on Instagram, Moolah Monster Collection on TikTok, Facebook, moolahmonster.com. Come get your great designer clothes from me.
I love it. I appreciate y'all, and I will talk to y'all soon.
Much love. Appreciate you.